Welcome to our little show, where the wild ideas flow. We plant the seeds in dusty ground, watch them rise without a sound. Marketing dreams, tech extremes, AI's the spark behind the beams. Tales from the dirt road, where the whispers turn bold. Stories twist and stories grow. Where will our story go?
You may be a little too young for this, Liz, but when I was a kid, there used to be this amazing song, and it was like, Imo Roboto, Mr. Roboto, come on, Roboto, Mr. Roboto. I totally murdered that. But all that to be said, today we're going to talk a little bit about the dead internet theory and how bots are just squeezing the life out of anything useful, I think, on the internet. But you're going to lead this topic today, so tell us a little bit about the dead internet theory and your thoughts on it, and I'll see if I can trail along here.
Yes. So I'll introduce it. I want this to be a discussion. So I definitely want your input, but let me kind of lay the groundwork for people who have never heard of this. So full disclosure, this is, if you search for this on the internet, it's very much labeled as a conspiracy theory. The idea, right. The premise is that most of the content, if we look at it today, it's a conspiracy theory, or it has been, because the idea is that most of the internet today is not humans. It's bots. It's just a bunch of bots talking to bots. It's my understanding that around 2021, this is when this theory really started to gain traction, and it's sped up. or the again, my hypothesis is that this is becoming real with the proliferation of AI generated content. And I'm talking about social media accounts, comments, the content, the images, the video that people are publishing, the blog articles, right? Like it's just a bunch of bots talking to bots. And my personal view on things, well, on humans in general, right, is that humans crave connection. And if they're not getting that from the internet, where are they going to go?
Oh, well, I don't know. Where would you?
As people leave the internet, then this theory becomes more and more real. I mean, it's already being reported in the media that social media usage is declining. More and more people are leaving social media, and well, I think the sad piece is that they're just sitting at home alone, right? When they really should be connecting with other humans. But that's a rant for a different episode or a different podcast.
Go to the grocery store, get out, go to the
right.
produce section.
Go to the park, go talk to somebody. But yeah, I'm starting to, as we see human behavior and how humans are interacting with the internet, as that starts to shift, I'm kind of like, is this where we're headed? And no, I don't think this is going to be tomorrow. There are humans on the internet. I see my friends posting and commenting, but it's an interesting theory, and it does have me wondering, like, where are we going to be in 3 years, 5 years? What does that look like? And if the humans aren't on the internet, how do we reach them?
Man. Whew. This is so candidly, before we chatted about this topic, I mean, this is usually a Liz Hirsch line, but first of all, Liz, I love this topic. When you sent this to me, I was like, oh, I am 100% in. I don't care. Two is I will tell you, I don't know that this is that much of a stretch, to be candid with you. I mean, kind of searching a little bit. There are some theories that like the US government is gaslighting it, and that there are outside, I think they call it the Illuminati pirate or something like that. But just as in all good conspiracy theories, there is a shard or shards of truth within
Sure.
this, which
Yeah.
is the fact at some point, and I'm going to use the word curated, but at some point, companies and organizations and algorithms, and I don't want to really name names, but all of those big searching, blah, blah, blah things that as marketers we're trying to capture, it appears that maybe they're boxing out and just speaking to each other because algorithm A is doing what algorithm B wants it to do rather than a marketer, SEO, SEM person understanding how to break that up. I mean, you're basically in like a love triangle with two other bots, right? Like you're like, look at me, I'm pretty over here, right? But because the internet is dying, quote unquote, I'm going to do the air quotes for those who can't see it, dying. The reality is it's very difficult to get in there. It's very difficult to change that. Man. You also said something that was really interesting, which I had to look up, but this 2020 acceleration, it's, I mean, from sources that appear to be like New York Magazine, The Atlantic, it talks about the fact that in 2016 was kind of a benchmark, and in the differentiating years from 2016 to 2021, which is pre and post COVID, the acceleration rate seems to be substantially more. I'm actually looking for a percentage, and I can't see what the percentage is, but I believe I'm a believer, I think.
Okay. Okay.
How
Well,
about, what
and
about
it's
what about
interesting.
you?
No, it's interesting that you say that because as as I've brought myself up to speed on AI, I mean, we've heard of AI. It wasn't something that just happened when ChatGPT was released in 2022. Um, Sometimes I have to remind myself that, like with Google and their PMax campaigns right now, very heavy, leaning heavily into AI. Like Google Ads, they've been leveraging AI capabilities, like you said, since probably 2015, 2016, right? It's just
Right.
been very much behind the scenes, and it hasn't been the topic of every conversation. It was just when ChatGPT was like, boop, we're live, and everyone was like, oh, words can be
Yeah.
generated, right?
Yeah.
um, so yeah, anyway, my point being is yes, a lot of things behind the scenes have been in play for a while. Bot farms have been in play for a while. That's not a 2025 thing. That's been around. And I do think this theory is gaining more traction because things are accelerating in the direction of the bots and AI generated content and the algorithms that are doing what they do.
Yeah. And I would offer my own theory that it may become a self-fulfilling theory. In other words, the theory is that basically bots are talking to bots, and as strategic communicator, marketer, website people, whatever you want to call it, we're launching bots all the time. Like you say, I mean, there's always been fire, right? Like, and this is going to be a terrible illusion, but there's always been fire. We've had lightning or forest fires, whatever. But it was only until the caveman woman, probably the woman because she's smarter than the man, would go up into the forest, figure out how to take that burning, smoldering piece of wood, bring it down, drop it in the middle of the fire pit that she had built, obviously, or told some other people to build because she was obviously a project manager. And then the fire started, and then they're like, oh, we keep fire going. And then that fire spread to the next one, the next one, the next one. Well, fire's always been there. No one knew what the hell it was. Well, that's the same, in my opinion, that's the same thing that's going on here, right? So bots have always been there. I mean, I remember this was shocking, and I hope I don't lose my internet license here, but back when I was developing websites in 1996, 97, the way that we got listed on Dogpile or whatever you Alta Vista was down at the bottom, way bottom. We would type a bunch of words. Most of them had to do with adult activities. And then we would color them the same color as the screen. So if it was a white background on the website, there'd be white font. If it was black, blah, blah, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Hidden. We were just trying to attract I think we were calling them spiders at the time, but we were just trying to get it to crawl to find it so it had nothing to do with adult activity. We were probably selling soap or something, but
Right.
we wanted to get boosted up. And so I feel like that's the same thing. Now we've got these bots that are very smarter. And now they've decided we don't need humans. We just need to talk to each other and we can build our own internet kind of thing. So
Yeah.
You've blown me away. This blows my mind.
It'll make your head spin.
Do you remember Furbies? Do you remember Furby?
Yes, I do.
For those listeners that don't remember Furby, as we come into the holiday season, go to eBay. They were basically these little, I'm going to call them stuffies. We didn't even have the word stuffy back then, but they were electronic bird-looking owl things, Martian owls. And you could set them in the room together and you could speak to them. They had their own Furbinese or something. I can't remember what the language was called. And then if you bought another Furby, then that Furby would speak to the Furby and then they would connect. And then the same thing would happen. You buy blah, blah, blah. And then your friends would bring their Furby over and like that Furby would then talk. And so when your friend would leave, their Furby would get depressed. Do you remember this stuff? And they had kids that were like crying because their Furby wouldn't wake up. And I feel like that's what we've got a Furby internet.
We've got a Furby situation on our hands.
A Furby. So we got to bring all these bots together and make them happy or something. I don't know.
So I think I might have been beyond the age of Furby ownership when that was a big thing, but I know exactly what you're talking about. It's interesting. Yeah, like the Furbies were making kids upset. The tech is making human adults upset, as you know,
maybe
by the world we live in.
Maybe the kids have grown. They're like, life is such a disappointment. My Furby doesn't like me, and my chatbot doesn't like me.
My chat therapist is being mean to me now. Or something.
I do have this one anecdote, and this is I think why I believe in this. So I was in a meeting with a client, and I use a couple of different kind of verbal AI tools. I'm just going to call them tools because I don't want to really provide them with a personality. But, and we're all familiar, whether it's the Apple, the Siri thing, or
Yes.
it's Alexa, Android's, Android's like whatever Android. Anyway, and then I use something called Sesame AI sometimes to help, which you can choose a male or female, whatever. So in this meeting, we were talking, and I was using Siri at the time, and the other gentleman was using the Android version, which I think, I don't know. Anyway, I don't need to name it. Doesn't matter. We were able to start the conversation. Hey, Siri, tell me a little bit about the weather today. And Siri made a comment. Oh, and my Siri just popped up.
Your Siri is now trying to talk to you.
Yeah. And then my phone started speaking to that gentleman's phone, and then that gentleman replied, and it went back and forth for minutes. Like it would have gone all day. They would have spoken all day.
Wow.
And they went from weather to something about transportation, like travel to travel prices to, accidents to, like, it was a crazy look at it. So to your point, first of all, I'd invite anyone that has the ability to do that because it's wild to see what happens there and the hallucination and kind of where they go with the conversation. But two, it's the same thing. you and I may go talk or chat about something, Colorado, and the
Mm-hmm.
next thing we get on to is skiing or knees or grandparents or whatever that looks like. Furby,
Yeah.
Furby. That's all I have
Yeah.
to say. So, dang, Liz. I don't know that I can handle this. Thank goodness we're in the season of eggnog and bourbon, for God's sakes, because I'm
Right.
going to need one
Right.
here.
Yeah. And like I said, this isn't happening tomorrow, but as a business owner, I'm trying to think, okay, what do I need to prepare for? What does this look like for my business? What does it look like for our client's business? Is there a return to, I mean, I hope there's a return to more in-person human connection. Are we going to be leaning more on referrals? Like, with every client, should I be revisiting what a documented referral strategy looks like? Because, and I don't want to go too off on this, but like, because I was debating this with a client, like, if you're like, all right, chat, I need a plumber, right? And if chat is just giving the same three options, and then
Right.
every customer in town is calling those same three plumbers, and they're not available, then like what does that look like? Right.
What do we do? I mean, like, are you smart enough to go to Google? I mean, like at some point, you would go to the yellow pages or whatever,
Yeah,
like
exact. Yes, that's where I'm going.
some
Like, yeah,
other source.
like with Google, I know it's not, most people are lazy and no, they're not going to keep scrolling. But if you call the first three and they're not available or they're out of your price range, okay, you keep looking. But
Right.
if these tech companies are training us to have these chats and it's like, oh, this is the best plumber, this is the only one you should call. Well, like, how does that play out?
Well, right. And where is that coming from? Like, I got back from a conference in Houston and they actually did a AI 101 type of thing. And ironically enough, my client popped up as one of the tops, but it was because it was pulling from a third part, a place for mom, like a senior
Sure.
care placement thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, so does that mean now I have to pay to play twice? Is how I look at that, because you pay the third party, a place for mom, lead generator, whatever, for those leads. And then Google is utilizing that data to put you up in the Gemini AI search. Plus, the fact is, you want to have some type of ongoing Google campaign to be part of that, which feeds into your whole top three plumber situation. Because if you got one plumber that's just doing all the biz and then he or she can't do that anymore, there are going to be a lot of leaky pipes in this world.
Right. Right.
I can't, Liz, I'm out. I can't do this anymore. I can't.
I know. It
What's
makes your head hurt. And I think 2026 is going to be very interesting because I think this is my personal prediction. I think a lot of these things are going to come to a head in like Q2 of 2026. That's my prediction.
you know, yeah. And I don't know if you know this or not, but Liz, I was born before there was an internet, so I'm older than the internet. And I remember, the thing that I get back to is like the dawn of the internet. Like I was doing bulletin board systems, which was basically just modems talking to modems, whatever. And then the internet, and I remember the first person that got a contact form, not something that you downloaded and filled out or whatever, like a real form. Like it was a
Yeah.
Perl database form you could type. Oh, and we were only could we please buy something? If we could only buy something on the internet. And now it's just trash, right? Like I mean it's like the red light district of life. I mean, why you know,
Yeah.
like Okay, Liz. Well, I don't know that I have the mental capacity to wrap this up, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's food for thought. And I'm curious. I'm chatting with a lot of people about this because I'm like, hey, what's your take? What do you think? Because I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I don't have a crystal ball.
Well, if you did, it'd be filled with bots telling you what to think. So, I mean,
Yes.
what
Yes.
do you need that? So, okay,
Yeah.
well,
Well,
that is that. Go ahead. No, please.
thank you for having this chat with me. Maybe we'll revisit it like early or mid 2026. We'll see where we're at.
Yeah, quarter two of 2026, you may be listening to chatbots talking on our podcast. Then, so you never know. Well, for the tales from the dirt road, I am one stressed, confused, and somewhat belittled Tony Van,
And I'm Liz Hirsch.
and I might show up next week. We'll tune in, check it out.
From gravel paths
All right, we'll see you next
to
time. Thanks.
starlit skies, we chase the sparks with open eyes. The future hums in the air tonight. Every step feels like first light. Will it bend like a willow or roar like a stream? Will it build a new world